We have to talk about a big cruise ship problem going on right now, a failure to launch, if you will, involving something known as a forever cruise that has unfortunately suffered months of delays due to construction taking place right now on board. The passengers, which by the way paid well into the six figures to sail on this forever cruise, are currently stranded over in Ireland with no solid proof of when this ship is going to launch and actually sail off on this forever cruise. Meanwhile, one passenger dared to speak up and complain about the delay, and for that reason, she has officially been banned from ever sailing on board the cruise ship. We got a lot to go over. There are a couple video clips I want to play as well, just to give a little context. So let's go ahead and get into it.
So a spot on the ship is a serious investment because this is where the guests are going to be living for years. But this is really off to a sputtering start. They have been locked at the harbor in Ireland for months, with passengers waiting night after night in hotels.
This morning, a globe-trotting 3.5-year dream cruise still stuck in the harbor. The Villa V Odyssey, now 3 months past its original launch date, undergoing maintenance in Northern Ireland and stranding some passengers there too.
It's cold, it's windy, it's damp, it usually rains.
The cruise is advertised to visit 475 destinations in 147 countries. The price to purchase an all-inclusive cabin begins at around $100,000 or more, plus a monthly fee for at least 15 years.
We intend to stay on for the long haul, but who knows how we feel after a year.
Some passengers sold their homes to live on board, and many of them have been in Belfast since May, waiting to finally set sail. They are allowed on the ship during the day, but they can't stay overnight. The company helping plan trips for those who want to travel, even booking hotel rooms for others who have to stay in Belfast, like Holly Hennessy, who can't fly around easily because her cat is with her.
I've moved 5 times, different accommodations.
The CEO says the ship is 30 years old and it had been out of commission. It made the trip to Belfast on its own power, but they then found a slew of issues.
The rudder stocks took 6 weeks to get done. And now we're dealing with a couple other things. But overall, I think 3 months is actually not that bad given the circumstances.
Lynette's very happy. We're on the ship.
Lynette Kanan and Johan Bowden have been documenting the experience online.
Hopefully by next weekend,
Yeah,
we'll
we
be floating away and saying goodbye to Belfast.
So just to give a little context here, this whole trend or concept, if you will, in which they have cruise ship residencies have been a thing forever. However, there are a lot more companies that are starting to get more involved, and it really started to kind of pop off just before the pandemic or around the pandemic. With this company in question, I hadn't heard of them prior to this Villa Vi residency, because it does appear that they only have one ship, the Villa Vi Odyssey, which was originally built in the year 1992, and during that process from when it was launched until now, it has traded hands and been in the ownership of multiple cruise lines, from Norwegian to Cunard to a couple other lines, just to name a few. Anyway, as you heard in the video clip, there are many passengers which once again paid at least $99,000 and above, and this is probably before all the taxes and excursions and the knickknacks and Wi-Fi and drink package and coffee and all that. Well, while they're stranded over in Belfast, which is a beautiful city, one of my favorites, by the way, they can get on board Odyssey during the day, but since the ship is under construction and it hasn't set sail yet, they can't stay there at night, causing them to have to, I guess, pay and book their own hotel every single night. And well, this has been going on for about 3 months now. They call this Forever Cruise because you can essentially buy a condo type deal or basically retire on the cruise ship. So this cruise is technically slated for, I believe it was 3.5 years, but people can buy these condos and they can pay it off for the next 15 years. There is a lot going on. Nevertheless, there was a woman that decided, by the way, her name is, I believe, was Jenny Phoenix. She complained about the delay, and once word got over to the CEO and all the higher ups for this particular cruise line, they decided to ban her outright from sailing on this ship once the delay is over and it's ready to set sail.
A Florida mom's dream of sailing around the world for 3 years was cut short before it even began, after she was banned from the cruise for complaining about delays. Jenny Phoenix, 68, has sold off her possessions preparing for the luxurious voyage aboard the Villa Vi Odyssey. only to be met with a 4-month delay in setting sail. Her private frustrations shared in a WhatsApp group were leaked to the ship's owner, resulting in her being barred for negatively impacting community morale. Phoenix expressed her disappointment, noting that she had been living out of a suitcase since December, waiting to board the ship. After continuous setbacks, including the cancellation of a Miami docking where she had planned to collect more of her belongings, she voiced her concerns privately among fellow passengers. However, these grievances were relayed to the ship's management. The chief operating officer, Kathy Villalba, responded with a notice stating that Phoenix's contract had been permanently canceled due to her continuous complaints and negativity, which allegedly impacted the well-being of other passengers. Phoenix, blindsided by the decision, insisted that her comments were private and that many passengers had privately thanked her for asking the tough questions. However, Villa Vi Residence's CEO, Mikkel Peterson, stated that Phoenix had violated multiple terms and conditions, including a non-disclosure agreement. This was Phoenix's second attempt at living on a cruise ship. She previously booked a spot on another vessel that was canceled before departure due to financial troubles. She's now back in Florida, reeling from the experience and staying with her daughter while she figures out her next steps. Phoenix shared, "I cannot even begin to explain the emotional devastation. I had the same dream everyone else on that ship does, and they took that from me seemingly without a thought."
So obviously, between the two clips that we saw, there isn't too much to break down here. This unfortunate situation for this woman, she sold off all her assets and she got a little too mouthy for the people in the dedicated group, and between that and whatever is outlined in the non-disclosure agreement got her banned from being able to sail on this forever cruise. Personally, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's wrong. You just have to understand the game that you were playing sometimes. As somebody that does cruise a lot, as somebody who does oftentimes, whenever I get invited to these pre-cruise events and these shakedown cruises, I do talk a lot with the marketing teams and some of the higher ups with a lot of these cruise lines, and no offense to them, but I will tell you guys, they are worse than the carnival lovers. They are worse than the loyal to royals. They can be very sensitive. And should you say anything that what they would call affects the morale of the people that are sailing, or really anybody that's involved with the project, they're going to get you out of here, and they're going to get you out of here fast. But this is what we have for today's video. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as usual, I love and appreciate every single one of you. Take it easy. Whoa.